In previous episodes, I've explored different varieties and colours of kyanite. Of course, the famous blue kyanite, which we are most familiar with, but also the amazing black kyanite, as well as orange kyanite. But today, due to a request, we are doing green kyanite, probably the fourth and final of the major colours that you will find kyanite in. Now, this crystal is mined mainly in Brazil, but we do find parts of Zimbabwe. It can be found in Switzerland, as well as the United States and Australia as well. Now, like the other kyanites, I like to think of kyanite as spiritual barbed wire, helping to defend us from things that don't serve us and allowing us to get back to our natural ways of being. And when we go with the color green, we know it's going to be really heart-centered. So that's exactly what we're going to explore in this video, how you can work with your heart and get back to what really nourishes your heart with the amazing green kyanite. When it comes to our empathic or intuitive abilities, we tend to feel it in one of three regions in the body. In the gut, we get a gut feeling, we feel it in the emotions, or it comes in the mind. And I find it really interesting that we almost have three different kyanites that resonate with those three. With gut feelings, things that can prevent us from over-feeling too much in our gut. We've got the orange. In our mind, it's the indigo or the blue kyanite. And when it comes to the heart, this is where we work with the green. Now, the really great thing about the green is this is really great for people that become emotionally overloaded, and it can be great for empaths that do tend to take on too many emotions of other people. Now, we do want to allow ourselves to feel those emotions. That's your superpower. You don't want to lose that, but you also want to be guarded about getting overwhelmed, and this is a great crystal to wear over the chest if you do find that that is a bit of a problem. Now, in helping us to connect with our heart feelings and as well as other people's heart feelings, this is a really great one to see truly what is in people's hearts. A lot of the time, the words that are coming out of someone's mouth are not exactly what they feel. And this will actually, when you're working with this crystal or wearing this crystal, you'll find that when people are saying something that they don't truly mean or that isn't in alignment with how they truly feel, you'll be more receptive to that as well. So a really great one for readers and psychics or anyone spiritual who needs to make sure they can feel the emotional energy of other people and of the environment, but not get overwhelmed by it and be able to kind of monitor how much actually comes in and allowing you to dispel that afterwards. Now, not only does this beautiful crystal work with the heart, but it also works with the lesser known chakra known as the spleen chakra. Now, the spleen chakra is around the area of your lower ribs. It resonates with a chartreuse color, so a yellowy green type of color. And this in pranic healing and other modalities is seen where our chi or our life force comes and goes. Now, where it is vulnerable is to energy vampires. You know who those energy vampires are. They're the people that when their name appears on your phone, you're like, oh, I really don't want to deal with that. Or once you've spent some time with them, you just feel drained. They may be at work, they may be in your social circles, they may be even in your family. And sometimes we just can't avoid them and we have to be around them. This is a great crystal because it's kind of yellowy green color for helping to balance and defend and ward off energy vampire attacks. So if you do feel that your life force is being drained by the people around you, this can be a great crystal to wear. You can either wear it in the center of your body or even position it over the spleen chakra to help balance that energy center, and that will really help you to not be so impacted by those that are threatening to drain your energy. I want to talk a little bit of astrology for a moment. And do you know where Chiron is in your birth chart? Now, if Chiron is in Libra, then green kyanite is going to be absolutely amazing for you. You see, Chiron is, in mythology, he was the wounded healer. He was abandoned as a child, this is his wound, but then worked so hard against that wound to actually become one of the most sought after people in the world. So from being unwanted, he became one of the most people that people wanted to see because he became a great a great teacher, healer, defender, warrior, teacher, scholar. He was just everyone like Achilles and Hercules trained under him. So we all have a Chiron wound, something that happens to us in our childhood. It's destined in our astrological DNA, and maybe we're just a bit more sensitive than other people to it. And when Chiron is in Libra, the wound is about relationships. And you seem to have this reoccurring theme and wound and feeling in your life that you're destined to be alone, that you just can't find harmony in your relationships, whether they be personal, romantic, work, and you just feel quite isolated and unsupported. And you may find at different times that you really struggle in relationships to balance your needs with the needs of other people. Green kyanite is the best crystal for these people when this comes up, and this can come up especially around Chiron retrogrades and other times in our relationships as well, but Chiron retrogrades are a real major one where you may want to keep this close if you do have Chiron in Libra. This is going to help you to, again, listen to your own needs, know what you need, and not put those needs on other people and expect other people to fulfill your needs, but also allow other people not to project their feelings on you. Sometimes people with Chiron in Libra will tend to attract people into their life which are toxic or unhealthy relationships because of almost a desperate approach of I just need anyone to love me or anyone to be around me. And this can really guard against that, as I mentioned before, against energy vampires and so on. So if you need to balance the energy flow and the heart energy in your life, especially if you have Chiron and Libra, then green kyanite would be a great crystal to work with on an ongoing basis, but especially when Chiron goes into retrograde and out of retrograde around those weeks, it would be really supportive for you. I've talked a lot about how green kyanite works as kind of a defender, making sure that too much unwanted emotional energy and vampiric energy is draining our life force and we're just feeling flat. Now, once that barbed wire fence is around our heart and we're not being kind of subjected to that and drained by other people, what does that create space for? It gives us space for us to actually listen to our own heart. This is a really great crystal when you just need some time and some space to listen to your own heart. When might that be? Well, maybe you're kind of not sure whether a relationship in your life, romantic or otherwise, is the right one to be in. Try resting with green kyanite on your heart and allow it to kind of shield you from the other person's opinions, other people's opinions, society's opinions, and just to listen, what do I truly want? We live in a world where there is so much telling us what we should do, whether it be what we should watch on Netflix, what we should listen to on Spotify, or what we should know on social media of what's happening in the world. Then we're surrounded by our community, our family, and people that in their best interest for us, or maybe their best interest for themselves, are giving their advice as well. But we need to stop, especially on our spiritual journey, and listen to what we truly feel. And especially if you're very heart-centered, if you're a water sign or anyone who just feels a lot of emotion in the heart, this can really help to get rid of the clutter, to get rid of the smog, so that you can actually listen to what your heart is trying to tell you and not have to filter it through other people's expectations or the density of other things that are kind of weighing on your heart, where you feel that you need to please other people and so on. So if you need to know what your heart truly feels, green kyanite, worn over the chest throughout the day and then meditated with at night, will really help you to hear the whisperings of your own heart. Not only does green kyanite allow you to block out all those draining energies and feelings and emotions of other people so you can listen to your own heart, it also allows you to listen to the heart of Mother Earth as well. This is a great nature connection crystal, and taking it out in nature, sitting somewhere quietly, going for a slow wander or doing a bit of Shinrin-yoku or forest bathing will really help you to connect to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. We know that we are meant to live in tune with Mother Nature, and we spend so much of our time indoors that we actually don't do that. Spending some time with your green kyanite outside in a natural environment will help to strengthen that bond and can have benefits physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually for you. On a spiritual level, green kyanite can help to facilitate the contact between you and nature spirits, whether you're interested in connecting with the fairy realm, the gnomes, or just hearing the consciousness of the trees, the plants, the rocks, the rivers, the mountains, whatever it may be around you. Green kyanite, when held or worn or kept by you, will help to strengthen that and allow you to feel not only the healing, but also the wisdom of all these nature spirits and the spiritual essence of Mother Nature. Normally at this part in the video, I talk about how to cleanse the crystal, but there are a couple of crystals, such as selenite and kyanite, that I feel don't need to be cleansed. These crystals have such a strong ability to deflect unwanted energy away from us, but they also keep it away from themselves as well. Now, if you do want to put this somewhere just for a bit of a recharge, putting it out in the soil, out in nature would be really great, but I do find my kyanites just never feel like they need to be cleansed. However, we still can bring in beautiful other gifts of nature to enhance the power of this crystal. When it comes to essential oils, I work with citronella. Now, citronella, it's not like the crappy stuff that you get at those, gardening stores and hardware stores, which get rid of mosquitoes. True, beautiful citronella essential oil, like the one that I get from doTERRA, is absolutely refreshing and works how it does physically, also energetically. It does repel insects and things that will suck our blood, and it will help to repel energetic vampires as well. I have one customer who has a very draining in-laws or mother and father-in-law, and goes through a lot of citronella because it helps to shield her from the constant demands and moaning and whinging that she has to deal with, because she's helping them with their health concerns while her husband works abroad. The citronella is really, really great for helping to deflect and get rid of draining energies, and then bring back your appetite for life because you're not feeling so drained anymore. So you can see how it works really perfectly with green kyanite. Now, the animal that comes through with green kyanite is a bit of an unusual one. It's the mosquito. Now, why would we want to tune in to this blood-sucking insect that kind of drains us? Well, when we connect with something and we appreciate it and we understand its wisdom, we can then be more wise into that phenomenon. So if we know about why things drain other people and why they need to do it, why is that mother-in-law draining you? Why is that person at work draining you? Why is it your partner's best friend drains you? Mosquito can actually help to bring wisdom into this and work out how they need to drain other people to sustain themselves. Once we appreciate it, it's not so much about how much it's impacting us. We can actually start to feel empathy or sympathy for them, and it can actually help to reduce the amount of emotional load that it feels upon you. Try it. Hold your green kyanite in one hand, diffuse some citronella essential oil, and imagine a mosquito coming and talking to you. It doesn't have to suck your blood, but just see what guidance comes through. And I'd really love to hear, because this is quite a different animal to work with, what kind of guidance you get from that. Now, when it comes to astrology, I would connect this either with Venus, who rules Friday, but also Chiron, because of that guarding that kind of spleen chakra, which is very Chiron related, and helping us with our Chiron wound as well. So it works really well with any time you're doing Chiron work, especially if you have Chiron in Libra. So that's a little bit about green kyanite. I think the kyanites, the set of the black, the blue, the green and the orange, are really valuable to have in your collection. But I'd love to know, what have you noticed with green kyanite? It's not all up to me. Pop your comments down below so everyone can have a read and we can all learn from each other on what our experiences about green kyanite are. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Adam Barralet. Blessed be.